Hey guys, what the hell am I doing? Alright, so I'm going to talk about the cycle of fourths. There's a cool question I just saw today on Reddit. Now, the reason I'm interacting with Reddit users currently is because you guys on Reddit have been very nice with your upvoting of my stuff. You guys seem to like my lessons, so I figured, you know what? Maybe they're good people on Reddit. I don't know. So anyway, here's the question. It says, posted by Celtic Trigger, the question says, alright, no matter how many times I read about the circle of fifths, I still can't get it in my head. It just won't sink in. What does a fifth represent? A fifth of what? Alright, so this question is a very, very straightforward, easy question. I'll answer that first. Number one, a fifth is just a designation of distance for things we call intervals. So if we were in a major scale, for instance, let's say G major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth note up is a fifth from the first. So 1 to 5, we call it a fifth. That's why it's named a fifth or a perfect fifth for some fancy ass reason. So a fifth. Now a fourth is 1, 2, 3, 4, or a second, 1, 2, a third, 1, 2, 3. Some people call these degrees. What's scale degree? Because they like being extra fancy, but they're just numbers. You just count, literally counting. It's like stupid easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so that's all this is counting up. So that's your answer. Boom. What the hell is a fifth? It's just the distance. Now, if you wanted to count up half steps, you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 half steps, which is 1 half step more than the exact center point between an octave, which is called our tritone, which sounds pretty cool and also scary to some people who are bitches. Alright, maybe I shouldn't say that in my videos, actually. I'm supposed to be professional. I am a professional musician. First of all, it shouldn't be called a cycle of fifths anyway, because music moves in fourths. They wrote it backwards. Whoever did this thought they were doing something, and clearly they're an idiot. Now, if you could look back in time historically in like some kind of a record book to say who created this cycle of fifths thing, I'm going to say that they're an idiot. Now, I could be wrong. Could be wrong, but I usually am not about this stuff, but you never know. So maybe you look them up, they'll have some weird-ass face, and you could tell just by looking at their face, maybe they don't know what they're doing with their music. Maybe. I don't know. So that's point one. Number two, you shouldn't even need this. If you're an actual musician, or if you've even practiced just a little bit, or you already have a visual, especially if you have a visual instrument like a guitar, you definitely don't need any kind of circle that you carry around with you, or whatever people are doing with this thing, or looking at it all the time on their cell phones. Say, dude, you guys gotta stop before we finish the song. I gotta check my circle. That's fucked. So you don't want to do that. So I will say this. If you're a beginner student and you are on a non-visual instrument or just doing everything on paper, then maybe it helps some people feel comfortable to see an infinite circle to represent whatever you think you're going to help by showing modulations. First of all, why the fuck are we teaching you how to modulate keys to a beginner anyway? That doesn't even make sense. Okay, so just whatever I'm saying, keep in mind, I'm looking at the historical use or when people show this stuff. Alright, so let's get to the next point. Now, if you're a guitarist, which most of the people who watch me are guitar players, alright, you definitely, absolutely have nothing to do with that circle of fourths, fifths thing. It's absolute bullshit. You don't need it. Here's why. On a guitar, if your key, for instance, is right there, guess what? A fourth is right there. So, a power chord. All right, so let's just look at the visual side. If that's your note that you're saying is whatever your key is right now, major scale, so G major scale, move down one string. That would be a fourth. All right, move down one string and up 2 notes, which is a power chord. The ring finger of your power chord is the other major scale that's 1 note away. The D major scale, then your 4 and 5 would be G and A. All right, G and A. If it was the G major scale, it would be C and D. So what I'm saying is, on a guitar, especially a very nice visual based instrument, you absolutely don't need to look at a fucking circle to determine what key you're supposed to switch to. All right, so yeah, throw out this stuff. And if you see people teaching about this, their website is probably a virus. I'll be honest. I found this many times. Beware of guitar teachers who try to show you the cycle of fourths and fifths. Actually, here, you know what? No. This is even better. This is a little bit of evil of me. But here's what you want to do. Just play dumb. pretend you never watched this video, all right? Play dumb and ask this teacher, say, well, how do you use it, though? What do we use it for? And if they try to explain it, first of all, they're going to stumble and suck because they probably don't know why, because there is no fucking reason on guitar. That's number one. Number two, when they finally come up with some bullshit reason that they tell you, what you want to do is say, well, isn't it easier to just, like, you just know that that's the adjacent keys are just a 1, 4, and 5 like that. You know, like your blues 1, 4, 5 progression, just right there, like a power chord or just one string down. Wouldn't that be easier? I don't need a circle. I could just see here. So no matter what key I'm in, if I was in B major, there's the adjacent key, or that's the fifth. So fourth, cycle fourths. It's extremely easy if you know how to play guitar up to like a basic level. If you can play bar chords, I'm sure you could do this. All right, it's very easy. But they try to put it as like some advanced music theory topic that it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Like all these videos, I say, dude, you're gonna change your life with the cycle of fifths. Wait till you see how amazing it is. You'll understand how to change key. All right, now here's another point. This is an important thing. I know that I'm being a wise ass and I'm being a little bit over the top. Again, I had a lot of caffeine today. I was out passing out flyers to people that I give private guitar lessons online, and I said, dude, you gotta listen. I went up to complete strangers in big groups of them. I said, listen, everybody in this general region right now, I need you to pay attention for a second. And they all look at me and they get nervous because I'm kind of a large human, but they get nervous because I look a little nuts too. And I say, listen, would you be interested in learning guitar? And they're like, what the hell is this random ass guy interested in guitar? And then a couple of them actually were. One guy told me he might be better than me on guitar. So I'm going to take myself down to a very humble level for a second, all right? When I started teaching non-guitar players music theory, when I started teaching straight up music theory to people, I thought that I had to teach them the cycle of fourths and fifths. I thought it was a big part of music theory because I saw it in everything I've ever read, all the book material for college courses and stuff I went through. And then I just regurgitated that. As a young teacher, I thought, this is what I have to do. This is the theory. It does. It makes sense to me. I see it's a circle. And if they're not on a guitar or if they're a non-visual instrument, then I could see that at first being something, at least something they could visually reference for a moment. All right, so that said, I was once, and maybe I still am in certain ways, I'm sure I am, but I was once a complete idiot when teaching this stuff. Not that I was teaching it wrong, but I don't think I should have been teaching. I don't think there was any point. So I would say avoid it. I don't think there's a point. I don't think it helps you out that much. Again, unless you know the student for some reason has a strong affinity to circles or something. I don't understand. All right, now another point people might bring up is, well, it's not just major scale shifts, it's also the relative minor. It's still the same pointless circle. And the more things you add to it, I think makes it actually worse. It doesn't help the argument on that side. Now that said, if you need a list of chords in your scale or in your key, that might be a problem in itself. You shouldn't need to reference that visually, especially, again, if you're on a guitar. You have your 1, 4, and 5, which, by the way, you remember that power chord thing I just showed you? Those are your major chords in any key. So if I was in this key, we'll say that's your C major, right? So we're going to go 1, 4, 5. So that's a C major chord, F major, and a G major chord, all right? Now, the rest of them are all minor chords except for the 7. That's your diminished. Bang, boom, 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 boom. Those are the 3 major chords. Everything else, the 2 and the 3 and the 6 are minor. And the 7 is the stupid-ass one. We don't use that much anyway. Boom! Guess what? I just saved you probably an entire course of some crazy theory some guy's going to sell you online. All right? There's no need. You don't need a circle to memorize that. So, again, really simple rule. And this is like 2 videos in one now. So the major chords are the 1, 4th, and 5th chord of your major scale. The minor chords are the other ones, except for the 7. The end. You don't need a circle. You don't need to remember. So you could look at, in fact, here, watch this. All right, my final thought on this, if you haven't gathered so far, a couple things in music theory I think we need to separate ourselves from which in upcoming videos we'll get into. But this cycle of fifths, fourths thing, we don't use it. We don't need it really on a guitar. I don't see the reason to have it. I've composed many songs in many genres for myself, for people, for jobs, actually, and Believe it or not, I never needed to look at a weird circle to do that. See, that brings me to another point. So if you strongly represent to a bunch of students that you definitely need to check this circle out to know how to change keys, or know what your adjacent keys are, or even what the chords are, which is strange, but what the chords are in a key, which I don't think you should do that way anyway. But if you need that reference and you're showing that reference to them a lot, they're probably going to think that that's how you make music. And it's absolutely really not. When you're making a song, you want to do whatever feels right. Have fun, make the natural thing happen. So if I go like this, and that sounds good to me, or say, for instance, Otis Redding, then that's good. That's good. Now you can analyze that and say, well, we did modulate keys about 3 times there, and we could figure out that this thing went to this thing, and we could draw 7 more circles. If we made like 18 circles, and then maybe like parallax them, let's move the circles like this and then spin them 90 degrees every time they pass each other, maybe we could come up with a new diagram, a perfect diagram. So you'll be able to make songs using any notes you want. You mean like being a creative human and not using circles with weird diagrams that are absolutely pointless to create songs. You get what I'm being a complete wise ass today, guys. I'm sorry. Sometimes this happens. Along with the caffeine today, made me into a little bit of a bad, evil person. Just a little bit. But it's to your benefit, because now you're learning that the cycle of fifths is fucking garbage. So maybe it helps. All right. Maybe I should recut this video being very nice. All right, guys. Hope you love this stuff. I hope this helps you out. I'm not saying not to explore this. You want to analyze things for yourself. Look through it. Anytime somebody says, well, here's this cool theory thing I think you should check out, definitely check it out. I'm not saying you should not disband completely from theory, but there are certain things I think, especially as guitar players, that aren't to our advantage. It actually, I think, hurts us a little bit, because you should be using this. You have everything right here. Your guitar, we're so lucky on these guitars. We have all of that stuff, all of those crazy weird circles. They're right here. You don't have to use some external thing. In fact, whenever you can, either do it in your head or right on the guitar. So it's so much easier. Just notice it. Thanks a lot for being really cool and checking out my videos. Thanks for the shares. I noticed, I don't know where they're shared. That is kind of weird. I don't know where you guys are sharing my videos, but I see a lot of sharing going on, and sometimes I do wonder. So it's nice. No, it's nice to get shares. But goddamn, sometimes I really am wondering where they're going. I want to know. Maybe you could send them to that asshole guitar teacher online. You know the one I mean. I can't say his name. You know which one I mean.